So you want to open your dental practice. That's awesome. There's so much things going on right now with this technological shift that's going on for the especially past couple of years, and I see that people are confused. I would say confusion is the main thing that is slowing down the process and just makes people uncomfortable what to pick, who to choose, and etc. So let me just give you a few things that we recognize as important to successfully, navigate on this journey. My name is Nick, and I'm a brand designer. I'm a founder of a company called Designer and Gentleman. We are providing branding services for various industries, but specifically for the medical and healthcare space. We build 85 websites for fertility clinics, for rehab programs, stem cell, back pain, sports injuries, plastic surgeries, dental practices, and etc. We know what needs to be done in order to really be successful, and I will explain why. This video is not about like cool lights and effects and flashy colors in the background. This video is not that much attractive for people who browse while sitting on the toilet seat. It's more for really those who want to learn more, and it's going to take a while, probably like an hour, to learn what I have to say, to listen what I have to say, not in order to sell, but to present myself and my company and what we do. So when it comes to the dental practice, I would like to tell you to do this before you even consider choosing a domain name. I want you to go on Google Maps, and in a little search bar, I want you to type of service you're going to provide, like Invisalign or crowns and bridges or veneers and etc. Then the Google is going to provide little pins which are going to indicate who is in the area, who is active. And these all pins are actually going to show you who is active and who is running the business and dental practice in your area that you're also interested in, right? If you do a little bit of research, you will see that some of these practices are open and active on the market for 5 or 10 or 15 years. Some of them have 500 5-star reviews, some of them have 1,000 5-star reviews, etc. So you're competing with them, practices that already exist. So the question is how you're going to establish the trust when you open the doors of your own, right? In order to open a dental practice, you probably worked for a couple of years real hard. You work hard, you didn't go to every single boat ride, you skip your Paris trip this year. When you go to a party or a picnic, you did not stay too long. You went back home, get some rest, so you will be ready for tomorrow because you're putting money on the side. Why you're putting money on the side? Because you wanted to be eligible to get a loan from the bank. And this scenario that I'm going to talk about today, it's not for, let's say, Kim Kardashian type of people. If you're Kim, hey Kim, what's up? If you're Kim Kardashian, this video is not for you. I'm talking about mortals. I'm talking about business who are literally starting normal, who are starting business from scratch. So you have to work for a couple of years. You don't have money to put millions in it of your own. So you go to the bank and you show them how your bank account looks like, and they check your background, and they do the background check, and they do they check your credit score, which should be above 750. And then with a couple of $100,000 on your bank account, they will probably say yes, you are eligible, and they're going to give you around $1 million. $1 million, I'm just taking that as a simple number, a round number to just understand. Without $1 million now in 2025, 2026, in the States, you cannot open good dental practice. And I will explain why. $0.8 million, 1.2, it's something that it's like a good sweet spot when it comes to, let's say, 1,500 square foot space. Let's say 3 or 4 operatories, waiting room, and all the amenities that one practice needs to have. So let's say $1 million. So you get a loan, right? You get a credit loan, and then you have to search for the right location. When I listened to the podcast, preparing myself and my team for the project that we are going to start working on, it's a podcast dedicated to the dental practices. I remember there was a guy who said I was searching for the ideal location for 4 years. So let's just remember that one. 4 years. But let's say an ideal scenario, you just, walk out from your building, you just find a real cool spot and be like 2 blocks away. I'm like, this is it right away. So you find immediately the right location for your ideal patients and demographics and everything. Start working on papers. You sign a lease, 10 plus 5 plus 5, whatever, but let's say 10 to 20 years obligation. And then you look for the construction company. You need to, build the space out, right? The construction for the dental practice is somewhere between, I'm using $1 million as an example, and 1,500 square foot for the, for the space. You will probably, I met a guy here I'm in Fort Lauderdale, and there was a power charge your dental practice workshop convention. It's in a pretty cool hotel. And I remember I spoke with a company and they said for the 1,500, it should be somewhere $400,000 at least and up. So let's say $500,000, depending on the materials, quality of tiles, lights, design, materials, but let's say $500,000 for the construction. Then you will have to invest in your equipment, in your, let's say, I don't know, iTero Lumina, CT scanner, some X-ray equipment, tools, lab, chairs, compressor, all of these things. So you're going to spend some more, probably between around $250,000, $300,000. And now you have money to start building your brand. So for the build out, as I said, let's say you just find a place right away, ideal location, and you start working on it. It's going to take you to build a place between 12 months in crazy ideal scenario and the best possible one to 2 years. So I would say like maybe 18 to 24 months. You're going to deal with the documents, you're going to deal with the architectural, blueprints and layouts and, picking stuff, and some are not anymore on the market. So it's going to take some time. And when it's done, you will have to deal with the permits. Here in South Florida, we're experiencing a large number of people moving from the different states, especially from the, let's say, Northern California or New York. Florida cannot manage that amount of inquiries and everything that we expect them to do when it comes to the, paperwork and all of that. They're super slow. And that's how it is regarding the phenomenal work ethic in South Florida. So you will need 18 to 24 months to build a place. And what we suggest to our clients is to start building a brand and start building a website. So you have your website up and running. Ideally, we would say 5 to 6 months before you want to open the doors of your practice. And why is that? It's because the Google is going to do its own thing, meaning the algorithms are going to scan your website, recognize it, and if it's properly well done, the algorithm is going to recognize what's the business all about, where is it, what services you're providing, etc. So again, even if your doors are not open still, and let's say your potential new patient is going to land on your page, we suggest clients to have either pop-up window or a little message that's going to say, hey, thank you so much for visiting, you're awesome and stuff, but we are going to open the doors of our practice in 6 months, 5 months, 4 months, we're going to have grand openings. So just give them some message, and it's totally okay. You're not going to lose them. They're actually going to appreciate your messaging. It doesn't have to be a pop-up. Some people are disabling the pop-ups on their desktops and other devices, but you can always put a message, hey, we're going to open in, June 2026. And we can always insert the form when they can leave their information if they're interested of, being updated about your practice and everything. Then I would like to talk about brand guideline book. When I show some company, when I said to a company, I was in a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and I said to a company, a construction company, but I told them, hey, we can create a brand guideline book that is really going to serve you, because even in this era of AI and everything, that's what brand guideline book is for. We are there to include some things that even AI can use and help you out when you want to produce some additional content. And they said, oh, that's awesome. But we do have a brand guideline book. So I get interested. I was like, oh, that's amazing. Can I see it? And they sent me, and it was actually 2 sheets of paper with the basic rules of the logo. So I told them, well, this is not a brand guideline book, what I had in mind. I was more thinking when we create a brand guideline book, it's more like 100 and more pages of rules when we talk about logo, responsive logo design, not just logo, responsive logo design, all the variations for digital and print usage. We talk about rules, of course. We talk about colors, primary, secondary palette, and etc. We talk about all the things that bring life into a brand. Logo, colors, typeface, fonts, icons, illustrations. I'm a big fan of illustrations. Imagery. Sometimes we split imagery into level 1, where we're using it, level 2, when are we using it, where's it going to live, who is it for, level 3, and then for every single level we are going to have A, B, C, and etc. So it's very comprehensive. Then imagery, rules for videos, and for social media, because every single social channel has its own character. We want it to be kind of fun and witty on, let's say, TikTok, and on Instagram we want it to be fun but educational, and on YouTube we want it to be kind of educational and etc. So we include that too, and we include the tone of voice, where we present examples of when you have a situation, the patient's coming in, this is what we are saying, this is what we are not saying, this is the tone, we use this, literally words and tone, so depict the tone that we are going to use in a specific dental practice because of the corporate culture. And overall, it does bring the quality of the corporate culture, and every single survey shows that corporate culture is becoming more and more important when it comes to both serving clients, patients, or customers, and for the employees as well. When we produce the brand guideline book, which is a digital piece, right, that is beneficial for the people who run the business, for the employees, and because that's how they're going to learn how to serve patients. And also, if you wanted to, let's say, do the photo shoot, the rules that we implement, you can change the teams of photographers or videographers, but because you have rules, if you look at the footage or the image library, it looks like it was done by the same team. What we did for our client here in Fort Lauderdale, we even set up the color correction. We have literally our specific tone with a little bit of noise, and so when you see our photos on, let's say, DDMs or flyers or banners or roll-ups or magazine ads or digital banners and email and whatnot, you will see the consistency by the color tone. And so it just brings the clarity and easy to recognize the business or the clinic or the dental practice. Back to the website. When we built the website, we launched the website for this dental practice. I think we had around 50 pages. That was the launch. That was the first version of the website before they opened their doors, right? So we have 50 pages. We include every single service that they provide. And we included content that is human-centric, but human-centric in the terms of people are not reading that much. I wouldn't say at all, but I would say that people are not reading that much. They're more scanning. There is a psychology of how people are actually looking. There's a couple of words of headline and subheadline and paragraph and this and that. So we are kind of tracking all that. We have tools that are helping us do that. So we are trying to cover that, and we are trying to cover SEO to make our content and website SEO friendly for the search engine optimization, but for Google and other engines like Bing. And also we include third pillar, which is producing content for the LLMs, large language models like Perplexity, like Claude, like ChatGPT, DeepSeek, and etc. Because now Google is not the only search platform that people are looking for stuff. They're also asking one of the LLMs to recommend successful businesses or dental practices in the area. So we are trying to, adjust the content for that too. And then you have to start searching for people, right? So you have to put an ad or Indeed or similar platforms, or you have to go into your search in your own circle and network and search for ideal candidates for a front desk and the hygienist and etc. So if you don't have people on top of your head, and if they're not available at the moment, you need to the interviews. People will show up, someone will cancel, someone will ghost you, someone will never respond. Even those who are actually seem like the right candidates, they're not going to even show up, at work. They just, disappear, and that's what's happening. That's a fact. And that's also something that is additional time-consuming thing that will probably might upset you a little bit, because nothing is going smoothly. As a business owners, we wanted to succeed, we wanted to make it happen, we wanted to get shit done, we are ready to go extra mile. We work on the weekends because we work for ourselves, we work for our financial freedom, security, predictable income. We wanted to create this portfolio of businesses or a business, or we wanted to succeed in this dental practice, to establish it as soon as possible, but the results are not coming in the first couple of months. You need to really put an effort. So that's something that you should be aware of. When we are done with the website, and let's say you open the doors of your practice, if we do, let's say, flyers, for instance, EDDM campaign, in some week that is like totally okay, everything is fine, and we will see the great result. So that's why we need to do the A/B testing, or to do certain things twice at least, so we can actually measure what is happening, right? And when it comes to the digital promotion, there are so many things that can be considered depending on your business goals. One of the things are Google Ads, which can be pricey. Pricing when it comes to the Google Ads depends on the current market, current situation, economy, and everything. And it's not something that we are making up. It's literally, you can look and see what is the price of the click, and then based on that, you can measure your budget. When I told you that you can look at the existing businesses on Google Maps, the pins are going to show you that. I know, I'm familiar that some dental practices are investing $20,000 in their monthly promotion on Google. I also know some dental practices are investing $100,000 a month. So again, you're competing with them. You can also consider Meta ads, Instagram and Facebook. You can consider LSAs, like local service ads, which I'm a big fan of, because I think it's more fair when it comes to like the pricing and what are you going to charge for. Because I think with the local service ads, people are looking at the maps and it's kind of more accurate, and it's going to charge you for like the warmer leads. So I think it's just in the first fiscal year, it just makes more sense, something to consider. Yeah, so who we see that makes a difference and who is thriving through this economical challenged times. We are working with the clients who are not stopping using our services when the website is up and running. Why? Because as I said, that there's other ways to promote. You need a booth, you need a banner, you need a roll-up banner, you need a billboard, you need a city lights, you need, other advertisement. You need somebody who is going to take control of the campaigns and stuff. And I think it's very important. It will be equivalent to, let's say, you want to build a house on a beach in a very touristy area, but there's also a bunch of other houses like Airbnbs. They're running for like years, and they have reviews and they have customers, and the word of mouth is happening. So. And then you're like, no, just help us out to build a house and we're going to figure it out. We are not in that space. If you're looking at this video, if you're interested in, let's say, reach out to us. As I said, we are trying to be very selective because we don't want to be in a space where we don't have control over our creative and business process and what we are delivering to the client. And therefore, we want to be there after the business is established, because it's super important for the first 2 or 3 years. During the first year, the bank is not going to, that's going to be the easiest year when it comes to the giving back the loan, the payment. After year 1, when the year 2 starts, everything is going to increase, like how much you're going to give back to the bank, etc. So it's really important to be there for 2 to 3 years. In the first year, with the ideal scenario, again, back to the podcast that I listened to for several months, the guy said, if you hit break even in a month, in the 6th month, that's an amazing success. With our client, we hit break even in a month 3. But we did a lot. We did so many things, as I said, from flyers to little calendars to promotional materials. We even included the little product that we branded using our brand guideline book. We have certain visual graphical elements that we implemented in the interior, in the wall art, and in this packaging design of the whitening kit. So there's so many things that can be done and so much strategies and latest tactics that we can apply for you as well. So what I wanted to say is that first 2 to 3 years. So in the first year, when you really push your business or promoting, even for some dental practices, doing the breakfast connections, or happy hour, just introduce your practice, because when potential patients see the doctor on the spot, they will be like, oh, that's so cool, thank you so much for visiting us. So that's one of the things that can be done outside of the digital promotion. In the first year, because it's for a couple of years now, it's a very insurance driven market, and you want to accept most of them, like most of PPOs, right? But the more you're gonna make a progress in the year 2 and the year 3, when you finish with the first round of the patients and they start coming back for cleaning, for this and that, like the rule of thumb is like 6 months, to visit a dental practice. Also, all these patients are going to do the work, they're going to help you out and do the word of mouth. Then at some point, when in the year 2, late second year or year 3, when your business supposed to become some sort of like going on autopilot, that's where marketing and advertising is going to, be kind of, cool down. It doesn't need to be as aggressive as it's going to be in a year 1. But again, it's a very comprehensive process. And in this era of the technological shift and the usage of AI tools, what we realize who is coming to us are people who are not just confused, but they're coming with the real problems. The reason for that is because they trust the new apps or tools or marketers. They're good salespeople, and they're just like to promise phenomenal, amazing results. We just like super fast, 2 clicks away. Some of them are even going to offer really low price when it comes to the, let's say, building a website and etc. But what the truth is the audience is becoming more needy, more kind of spoiled. They expect more because of, let's say, those companies who really do have financial capacity into advertise, into investing in their brand experience. That's what they want from you as well. From onboarding process to how you treat them, how you talk to them, they're probably not going to be, they're not happy with the bigger corporations. But the thing is, the trap is the general dentists are using these companies, and then they don't reach a result or goals. So they lose the market opportunity, they lose the money. And I like to ask my clients, not just in dental care space, but just in any. It's not a dental or medical care type of question. It's a little bit mathematical, but mostly it's a common sense question. So let's get back to the full journey. So you work for a couple of years, you save a couple of $100,000, you go to the bank, you get a loan of, let's say, $1 million. The family, if you have one, or at least friends, they suffer a little bit. They want you more in their lives, but you're so dedicated. You want to open your dental practice. You want to establish that. You want to put yourself into it, and then you deal with the legal stuff, and then you work on the build out and check the documents and permits and this and navigate, and then you want to keep your current job, but then maybe you cannot produce, maybe you cannot work like the full time for the dental. In the dental space, full time is like 2 to 3 days or whatever, because you need to dedicate your time to control the process of the build out and everything. And then you have the loan of $1 million, and then you start building and start promoting and this and that. But is it rational to make a decision? I'm going to hire this company that is just promising me I'm going to get some amazing results by just investing like a couple of grand in this. I feel bad because we don't see businesses, we see people who have their lives and their families or kids, and they have college funds. And what I see is that their relationships or their marriages or their social, connections are falling apart in a way because they invest so much. And then they say, but this doesn't work. Oh my God, this didn't work because it's an insurance driven market, and it's hard to make a decision. They're not ready to pay. It's this and that. And looks who is running the government, and it sucks, and it's this and blah, 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 whining. But the real question is, do you really think you can save the business of $1 million and more if you invest? What is the reasonable price? What is the reasonable number? We worked as a designer and gentleman. We work in a startup. We work with the startups. We build pitch decks for probably more than 60 startups, and our clients gain between $1.5 million to $125 million in the first fiscal year, and depending on their, in the different phases of their growth, pre-seed and first round and etc. So this is also a startup, and the rule for startups is you have to invest 10 to 20% of your capital in growth. That's not something that I made up. It's just a rule of thumb. You can invest less, you can always build it, spend time, money, and sell it. It's up to you. I'm just saying, if you want it to be successful, again, going back to who are your opponents, depending on who your opponents are, how much they're investing, what are they putting, this is the guys who you want to compete. If this is a race of, let's say, 100 meters race, if the fastest guy is running 9.85, if you want to beat this guy, you have to be 1.84. At least just that much little percent if you want to be better. So there is a way to run a successful and established dental practice, but there are a lot of things that needs to be put in place properly. It takes time. It takes a lot of work for us, but for you. And I just don't want to see people unsuccessful because, when they ask you, hey, how is your dental practice doing? You go, I just have to close it. It's not worth it. I did something wrong, but I'm not experienced. I'm a general dentist. I'm not a business expert. There are so many different stories. And as I said, either it's an insurance-driven market or it's overall, it's a business. Meaning dental owners do want to make money, which I understand. It's totally, rational thing. But the way people are running their dental offices is different. And some of the aggressive ones, aggressive in a bad way, want to offer or do some things or apply procedures that patients actually don't want at a moment or they're not ready, but they still want to do it because they want to make money. They want to charge them or their insurances, right? So there is this lack of trust when it comes to the dental care in general. And you will probably notice from the patients that are already coming to you, to the practice that you're working right now, is also some sort of confusion because there is so much difference in the quality of service that general dentists are providing. Now, general dental practices are operating because they have dentists who have licenses, right? So think about how come this confusion is coming from a space where it's actually quite regulated and there are licenses, they're officially, recognized, but there's still so much variety, still so much difference when it comes to the quality of service. Now, in branding and marketing space, there are no licenses. And that's why the confusion when it comes to the picking the right company, it's even bigger. It's much more, happens much more and often. And the reason for that is that a lot of the providers of creative services, they don't have licenses. Some of them are like self-taught. Some of them are part of a generation that everything is like super fast. They want results right away. And following that philosophy, their offer is, we can do it like super fast, super easy. It's easier than ever. You can get this many patients and this many, patient acquisition, and like it seems so easy. But real life shows something different. Shows that that's not the case. And as I said, a lot of doctors are losing the momentum. They're missing the market opportunity, and they're not being able to position themselves properly because they're choosing the creative agencies. They're strong when it comes to promising, but they're not delivering. Again, I'm not trying to sell. Of course, I wanted to present our approach by, sharing all of this. It's just, I don't believe in the fast results. I don't believe in solution is like 2 clicks away. But what we can do and what we can promise is that we can lower the risks to the maximum. Lowering the risks, measuring every single thing that we are doing. We have multiple, as I said, advertising assets and covering most of the touch points. So what we do when it comes to the offline, there's always an interesting question. How do you follow? How do you measure the success of the offline campaign? How do you know that someone came to your office, let's say, by seeing a flyer or a magazine ad? Well, what we can do, we place a specific QR code. So each touch point or advertisement or marketing material has its own unique QR code. So for instance, if you have a calendar, magnet calendar, if you have magazine ad or flyers or banners or roll-up stands or billboards, whatever it is, we put a specific QR code so we can measure, the billboard was scanned this many times and the magazine ad was scanned that many times. At least we got some sort of interest, and we can track where it's coming from. It's your money, it's your life, it's your dental practice. We're here to help you out. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm always there to respond. We can always hop on a call. Check our website, check the links and links below, and feel free to reach out. I would like to help you with your dental practice. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.